This is Steve Robbins. Welcome to the Get It Done Guys quick and dirty tips to work less and do more. It is a dark and stormy night. I'm hunched over my computer writing furiously, working on my book, Get It Done Guys 9 Steps to Work Less and Do More. The solitary candle flickers on my desk as lightning flashes illuminate the mantel, throwing my pet raven's image into sharp relief as he recites once again passages from 50 Shades of Grey into the cold and uncaring night. I type the final word of my chapter as a thunderclap fills the room. Laughing in triumph, I rip the final sheet from my typewriter, take one look at my masterpiece, and realize that I'm just finished writing Chapter 6. The problem is that I'm pretty sure I finished Chapter 6 3 weeks ago and sent it off to my editor. That would be oops. My raven stares at me, expressionless, opens his beak, and says simply, nevermore. That was a few years ago. The book is done. Go buy 10 or 20 copies. I'll wait. But the lesson was key. I was so in the flow of writing that I lost track of the process of writing. This is what happens when you try to manage a task and do it at the same time. Have you ever been asked to manage a project that you're working on? Sometimes this works out really well. Other times it's a mind-boggling disaster. We assume if Melvin's a good programmer, then surely he'll be good as a programming manager. Not true, I know, because in one of my early jobs I was Melvin. I was supposed to manage the project I worked on. Let's just say things didn't work out so well. As those of you over 30 will remember, the Earth used to have 2 moons. When you're doing, your brain is full of doing stuff. It's in doing stuff mode. If you're writing, your brain is full of what you're writing about. It's full of grammar and spelling and sentences. If you're gathering market data, your brain is full of focus group comments and demographics and observations, stuff like that. When you're managing, your brain is in planning mode. You're assigning deadlines and milestones, choosing how long your report or presentation will be, and figuring out how to delegate the work that you can't do yourself. Stuff like that. These are completely different. Your brain is full of different stuff depending on whether you're doing or managing. You can't do both at once. You'll drive yourself nuts. You can't both do and manage well. There you are, totally in the flow, writing your marketing report. You suddenly realize there's a chapter that you can't write yourself. You hop on the phone and you start calling colleagues to persuade them to help out, and 4 hours later, after checking your email, reading a news group, surfing the web, and browsing Tumblr, you remember that your marketing report is still due and you try to get back to it. When you manage and do at the same time, you either lose track of the deadlines and management big picture, or you lose track of the details that you need to be able to do what you're doing. Either way, chaos ensues. Separate managing and doing. Before leaping into a project or even a focused task, do your managing up front. Then leap into action with full commitment and put your management decisions into action. When grocery shopping, make your shopping list and order it by aisle before entering the grocery store. Then just make a beeline for the stuff, grab it, and go. When event planning, decide who buys materials, who makes decorations, who bakes the Oreo ice cream cake, and who puts up the decorations. Figure out when each person needs to be there and give everyone the information in advance so everything happens perfectly. Oh yeah, designate an event dominatrix as well, and then when someone doesn't follow the plan, the dominatrix can whip them into shape. When calling a meeting, decide the meeting's purpose, decide the topics and order you'll discuss them, and distribute an agenda. Also, designate a timekeeper, scribe, and facilitator before you begin the meeting. When writing a report, identify your sources and submit requests for information up front. Have a home place to put your reference materials as they come in so that you can jump right into writing and just reach out and grab your references as needed. When starting a work project, define your deliverables, sketch out the tasks to be done, assign tasks, and ensure that everyone knows who's in charge of what. Nothing's worse than a project where people don't really know what it is they're supposed to be doing. Then, jump in and do. Divide long projects into phases. With big projects, you may not know enough to do all the management up front. For example, you won't know your doomsday device lead time until your scientists have perfected the technology to vaporize the remaining moon. In that case, do the planning for your first phase in detail, and then schedule a second planning meeting to plan the next phase. In each phase, manage what can be managed, then jump in and do. At the predetermined time that you chose during your previous round of managing, stop doing, step back, and manage some more. Our minds are sensitive, delicate flowers. They can't be expected to zip back and forth between the completely unrelated tasks of managing and doing. When things start to fly apart, stop and notice if you're trying to do and manage at the same time. And if so, separate them out. Start with time solely devoted to identifying tasks and resources, setting time and space limits, and delegating tasks. Then jump into the doing and do wholeheartedly until your predetermined time limit, and then switch back into managing mode and see where you are. Use this for tasks as small as writing a memo or as large as a multi-year project. At any given moment, you can be a lone manager or a lone ranger. Just don't try to be both at once. Betterment LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. Brokerage services are offered by Betterment Securities, an SEC-registered broker-dealer and member FINRA/SIPC. Investments are not FDIC insured. No bank guarantee. May lose value. Investing in securities involves risks, and there's always the potential of losing money when you invest in securities. Before investing, consider your investment objectives and Betterment's charges and expenses. This is not an offer, solicitation of an offer, or advice to buy or sell securities in jurisdictions where Betterment and Betterment Securities are not registered. This is Steve Robbins. Follow Get It Done Guy on Twitter and Facebook. I help high-powered people take their lives to the next level. If you have a dream of doing something extraordinary, I can help. If you want to know more, visit steverobbins.com. That's SteverRobbins.com. Work less, do more, and have a great life.